Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and in a week of really great news for former President Donald Trump, sometimes the biggest news can get forgotten. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. It has been a banner week for former President Donald Trump. First, he gets a decision from the appeals court that says his bond is now only $175 million instead of over $450 million. First bit of good news. The appeals court also says that he and his sons can continue to run the business in New York while the appeal plays out. Also great news. And it says that Letitia James cannot touch any of his properties or any of his bank accounts until at least September. More great news. Then, Truth Social, the parent company behind Truth Social, goes public and gives Trump a windfall of about $4 billion. That's billion with a B. So, $175 million right now is nothing to him. Even though he can't touch that money basically till September, that's a huge, massive amount of money in his pockets from Truth Social. But one thing we may be forgetting, the biggest decision was made about a month ago. And it was made by the Supreme Court. And CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin at the time said it was a major victory for Trump. I still think it's the biggest victory he's had so far. I'm going to have him explain it to you, and then I want your opinions. When you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.
Jeff, is this a victory for Donald Trump?
A big victory. You know, one of the things you learn in law school is that sometimes procedure is even more important than substance. And I still think it's very likely that Donald Trump is going to lose this case on the merits. But
if the Supreme Court would rule against
the Supreme Court will say he does not have immunity for all his actions as president. But if they say that at the end of June, which is the likely calendar at this point, that will make it almost impossible, not entirely out of the question, but almost impossible for this trial to go forward before the election, and that's what Trump wants more than anything.
They could have just decided not to weigh in on this and defer to the appeals process, right?
And they could have, if they had done that, Judge Chutkan in Washington could have started this week in, doing the pretrial proceedings that could get the case going in plenty of time before the election. But they didn't do that, and that's why it's a big win for Trump.
So, Ellie, I mean, oral arguments April 22nd. What does that say about the court's view of the urgency of this?
I think there's a lot of frustration out there from people who see this and say, oh, wow, now Donald Trump, in all likelihood, not impossible, but in all likelihood, will not be tried before the election. But one of the lessons I take away from this is the Supreme Court doesn't care about that. They don't share Jack Smith's sense of urgency. And I think there's a couple ways you can look at this decision to take the case. There is a way to look at it and say, well, they've done Donald Trump a great favor, which certainly they have in the outcome. But there's also some truth to this. This is a classic case that the U.S. Supreme Court would take. I agree with Jeff. I think they're going to rule